What are we to make of the post race at Martinsville with Sam? Were both of you guys triggered?
I mean,
what happened?
I mean, looking back, I wish it never happened just because it just sucked. But I feel like I learned a lot from it, and I'm thankful for that. But I just was frustrated. I feel like, I got cheap shotted a little bit, but it was for the win, which was understandable in his positions for $100,000. But I lost the race. If I didn't miss the bottom, I would have won $100,000 in the damn clock, and I would have walked out of there all pumped. But I missed the bottom in the 19-1, and so I just was frustrated, and I feel like didn't take advantage of. I just got moved out of the way, and I was just frustrated because of that. So tempers were high.
Were you surprised in how you reacted? I mean, that's when we learned that Gibbs could throw a punch.
Well, I just was. No, not really. I just wanted to get the point across that I was frustrated, and I feel like I walked away, and I feel like he came back up to me and stuck his finger in my face. And if everybody's like, he never took the helmet off. If you go back and watch, I took my right Hans off, and I was taking my helmet off at the time, and he came back up to me. But it's understandable in his point. I hit him after the race, so it was a mess. And I'm the one that started it because I missed the bottom, and I hit him after the race.
You look like you had thrown a punch before.
That's right. That's my point.
I grew up with 3 brothers and 4 other boy cousins, and we played football. And Coach would take us over to JD's house. And we played football and ride bikes. And
you swung on plenty of those guys.
We're rough and tough boys, and we're beating and banging each other. That's just
throwing a punch does not come naturally for people. It doesn't.
Yeah, luckily, it helped. It helped out a little bit having some boys. I've been thankful for that.
I think a lot of people were impressed.
That's my point. It's like, he's done this before, or he has.
But
really
I didn't want
training.
people. I didn't want people to be thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that because I didn't want to get. I didn't like that. Doesn't show what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? Jesus didn't want me to get in a fight, and I didn't want to do that.
You don't have to explain yourself here. Listen, at this table, we appreciate fights. We appreciate cheating. We appreciate all the things that. Everybody else appreciates it, but they don't admit it. Well, we'll admit it here. We thought that's when we got respect for you.
Innovation. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I don't think cheating. Innovation. I got to be honest with you. There was a point this year where you also impressed me. You wouldn't know this because it wasn't on the track. It was when our friends at Door Bumper Clear said something that I think was incorrect.
I was frustrated. I felt like taken advantage of in that situation.
And you know what Ty did? He called up Brett. Mm-hmm. He called up Brett and had the conversation himself. Didn't do it through PR reps. Didn't do it. And I like Brett.
I just was frustrated for what they said. They said, so at Talladega, I got big run by 39 and was dead sideways down the straightaway. And I came back and I just, how it is. I was super easy on the wheel. And I remember I just almost got turned by the air, and at the same time I hooked at 11, and I wrecked 11. I straight up wrecked them, and I wrecked myself. I wadded myself up way worse than any of them. But I remember he said that I flipped them off. He said, I mean, if you go back and watch and zoom in, I have pictures on my phone, and I sent it to him. But I think I did. I don't know if I did or not, but I called him, and I remember it was just my hand because I was like easy, And they said that if you're speedway racing, you can't be flipping people off out the window. But I was. Speedway racing, I was waving this guy off because he's pushed me too hard, and you know how that is. Yeah. I'm just like, hey man, easy, like that's too much. And so they said I flipped them off, and I was just frustrated. And I was like, I'm a racer, I want to speak up, and I'm not just gonna be some silver spoon that's not gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk. I want to call him. Yeah.
Not only that, I think that drivers a lot of times. Now, I think it's not just drivers, but anybody uses text messages as your. I don't have to talk to somebody face to face.
Call.
And you. Not only didn't text, you called up and had a man-to-man conversation, and you were your best self-advocate. You didn't ask anybody else to do it. And that's when I realized, hey, listen, I think that Ty actually is a lot more mature and a lot more man about this than what people are giving him credit for.
Thank you.
I appreciated you doing that. Yeah. And by the way, I think Brett did too.
Yeah, no, I respect all. I listen to their show here and there, and I like all those guys. Casey and Brett and TJ, and
they're wrong all the time. So that wasn't the only time.
No, and I give Freddie, I give him a little crap here and there, but I just felt like I was like I'm going to be around the sport for a while, I think, hopefully. And I want to be able to have good relationships. So I was like, I might as well call him and just make sure that we get the point across. Because I'm the one that did it, and I didn't flip him off. My hand was out the window. All my 4 fingers or 5 fingers are out the window. Yeah. So I just was making sure that.
Have you ever flipped anybody off
yes.
in a race car?
Yeah. I learned that. Kyle told me not to do that anymore. And he sat me down and yelled at me. Busch.
Really? Kyle Busch told you something about it?
So that I was on live TV, and it was at Martinsville on the lappers.
Did he tell you that he's also flipped people off?
Yeah, but he gave me.
He's a bit of a hypocrite. Yeah.
Flipped him off at Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
We've had a lot of flipping off, and I learned. I feel like over the last 2 years, I've learned a lot about respect just from getting in the higher series, and we're earning respect. I'm getting the Cup Series. I don't want to wreck somebody.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? Like I just want to learn respect. And so I remember getting mad at lappers or something. Because they have a mind of their own sometimes. And I remember I got ran high at Martinsville on that. I just flung the bird out the window. And I mean, that's not who I am, and I don't talk like that. But
Yeah.
I remember flipping a couple people off, and you get comfortable with it. I don't know if you
Start doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
you start doing it all the time.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
effective.
And so Kyle came to you. He saw you doing this to other people, and
yeah,
Kyle
he said, "You just need to calm down, man. You just need to calm down."
you didn't flip him off.
No.
But he came to you and said.
But I would flip like I'd race Drew Dollar, and he's my
Yeah.
buddies. I'd flip him off
and
just
so
for fun.
Kyle came to you and said, "Hey man,
We need to stop doing
stop
that.
doing that."
Yeah, he said, what are you doing? Stop. You need to just relax. You need to just
That's
relax.
interesting.
I remember he brought up some driver, and I'm like, man, that guy. I'm like, man, that guy's just crazy. He's a hack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's like, what is wrong with you? You just need to relax.
That's funny.
Remember we were sitting in the after Xfinity practice at Road America. He won the next day. I was beating him, and we were talking about the car, and he's asking all these crazy questions about shims and stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And then finally, when it gets brought up, he's like, are we gonna have the talk now or not? And then he finally is like, you need to stop. You just need to relax. Just relax. And then I took that, and I'm like, all right, I relaxed a little bit, and then I go look at somebody like Kyle Larson, which is one of the best drivers to probably ever walk on the face of the earth. There's a bunch of them, but he's on that list. And I look at him, and he's won a cup championship, probably more to come, and all these races more than probably I'll ever win just because he's racing all this dirt stuff. And I'm like, that guy has gotten one altercation. It was at Chili Bowl with I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't even an altercation. It was just a yelling match. And I'm like, besides that, he's raced people hard, but he's not wrecking people, flipping people off. He's respectable, and I was like, that's who I want to be. I want to be like him. And I want to be as fast as him. I want to be as fast as Kyle. I want to be as smooth as Denny. And I was like, I took all that, and I was like, that's who I want to be. And sometimes it's failed. Like I've got a fight at Martinsville with Sam, or I've said bad things on the radio, cuss. But
Sure. Yeah.
But I took. I'm like, that's who I want to be. Like I want to be like that guy. Like that guy's good, and I want to be like him.
When I remember when I came into the Cup Series, flipping someone off. Like when you're in your teens, late teens, 20s,
testosterone.
Flipping someone off is not like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just letting you know I'm mad.
Yeah.
You can flip me off. I don't care. It's fine. But to a guy that's like 35 and older, they get personal about that. Now I'm now at that place, right, where if I'm out on the racetrack and especially a younger driver flips you off, it flips a switch that I didn't know was there.
Yeah.
Because I remember doing it when I was younger, and I think it was Rusty Wallace or somebody. I was either getting this conversation from Rusty or I was listening to it, and it was basically like, look, man, if you're going to flip somebody off, be ready to get your ass run over in the next corner, because that's what's going to happen. Because that's like that enrages a driver more than giving them a donut or even running in the back of them.
Yeah.
For some reason. That one
because it's personal. It is
personal.
You doing it. It's not. I mean, the car. If you
you're right,
hook somebody or you door somebody, that's you doing it too. But it's your hand sticking out the window, not your team's car.
You could use a guy up in the corner, and he might just use you up in the next one. But if you flipped him off in the corner, he's going to wreck you.
Or get wrecked.
Yes.
You're going to get.
Or you're going to get in a fight.
You get in a fight after the race.
Yeah. It's weird.
That's fascinating.
It is.
Feels like I've seen a lot of birds fly out the window. Now I need to sort of pay attention to who's throwing it and who's receiving it.
I just look at people that do it, and I've done it. I'm a complete hypocrite. I've done it too. I've done probably more than the people I'm talking about. But like, I look at somebody do it, and their hands like
way out.
Yeah, I'm just like that just doesn't look
Aggressive.
professional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't feel like that is. It just looks. I just don't think it looks right. And I've wrecked people and got flipped off, and that was my fault, and I probably should have got flipped off, but I just don't think it. I don't think it looks like a professional. I just don't think about that. And I mean, there's times where you're gonna have to, you could probably handle a different way, but you're gonna have to flip people off. But I feel like just getting a little bump or something, like if your whole hand's out the window, you try to touch the sky.
You don't have to say names, but is there people in the Xfinity Series right now that would flip you off and not get away with it? You would make sure they would not get away with it.
I haven't thought about that. Maybe a little bit, but
It's case by case, man.
I just think
in the
that's what I'm saying.
moment.
The biggest thing
I
is
got
if
you.
somebody's
Yeah.
slipping you off or you're racing something hard, just get by him and go. Your car's faster than that. That's what I always got told. Don't dork around with them. You
Yeah.
know, just go. You pass them and go. You're faster.
It's
than
hard
that.
though in the moment.
For sure, 1,000%. But I feel like that's once you learn that and you keep you don't get, you don't win the race and you get too high and you forget about this stuff. You just keep yourself at sea level and you learn it and keep all those tools underneath you and you use that in all the situations. I mean, you're going to be good.
Did you like that conversation with Ty Gibbs? Well, you can listen to the entire interview because the Dale Jr. Download is available on all major podcast platforms.